Now, scientists at the University of Cape Coast say it will take 500 or more years to replace the topsoil being destroyed as a result of Galamsey activities. These scientists want government to take a critical look at land use and save the nation from starvation if its policy of planting for food and jobs would be fruitful. On JoyNews' agenda today, our Central Regional Correspondent Richard Kwejonyako looks at how good agricultural soils have been sacrificed for illegal mining activities.
But we exist because there is soil and because it rains, if you take out the air. So soil is the number one resource that any government that wants to develop has to think about.
A look at most of the lands in the central region, especially the northern part of the region, reveals many areas where cocoa and other arable crops used to thrive have been heavily destroyed. Areas in the region that offered a fresh green alternative to the bustling cities and stifling heat of the coast are no more. The farmers in these areas willfully sold all these lands that had cocoa trees, palm trees and other cash and arable crops flourishing on to Galamsey miners.
It takes a long time, in fact geological periods, a long time, thousands of years to have just 1 inch of good soil formed. But in most agricultural areas, or in most areas, the rate at which we are losing soil is much faster than the rate at which the soil naturally forms itself. So if you require about 500,000 to 1 million years to get one inch of a good topsoil, that means you need a number of generations to pass to be able to get a good topsoil. What it does means basically is that the little good soil you have to protect it with all that you've got. Because if we get good soils on Mars and if we get good rains on Mars, people will leave this planet and go to Mars.
Dr. David Oscar Yorson is an environmental scientist and a senior lecturer with the University of Cape Coast. Most of his researches are geared towards the environment. He warns of a looming danger in how the soil is being treated.
We need to look at what we have. A nation is made up of land and people. So we have land. And then you know that land is not infinite. It is not in abundant supply. If in the interest of securing soils and in the interest of securing natural resources in general, including the gold which sits in the soil, government must first and foremost map the soils, map your lands, and plant land use appropriately. Now, if you do that, and a landowner holds a title to a land, it doesn't matter, it's just a title to the land, but he also needs a certain permission to use the land for a certain activity. If you want to use the land for agriculture, then government must have designated that area for agriculture. So you own the land, you cannot sell it for somebody to build a house on that. If we have properly zoned our lands and planned land use and have stronger land use controls in place, then people cannot be easily buying lands for mining or for illegal mining or what have you. These things will be properly controlled. You have very good arable soils, agricultural soils that have been converted to built up areas where people are building houses. We have areas where people are building factories where they don't have to. When it comes to physical planning, you have current situation where churches are built in residential areas, and all these things bring up conflict. You need the government, an effective government, to bring these things under control. And I believe strongly that if we really want to deal with the Galamsey menace or all the mining issues, environmental pollution issues in this country, we need to first and foremost look at land use planning and physical planning.
Dr. Yorson wants government to have a critical look at the land use policy in the country. He says the current practice where agricultural lands are being used for other purposes would scatter government policy of planting for food and jobs if government means business with the policy.
Now we have a flagship program in this country, planting for food, planting for jobs. And we always look around, we see plants around, so we think we have land. But it's not just every land that can be used for good agriculture. You need areas that have good soils for agriculture. And these are the areas we should target quickly, we should protect quickly, and then protect the soil all over the country.